Welcome to the show, Sharath.
Hi, thank you very much for having me over.
So, like Sharath Kamal, taking you back to the memory lane, Tokyo Olympics 2021. Your memories and how will you describe India's table tennis campaign at the Tokyo Olympics and how would you sum up India's performance there?
I think all of us did extremely well, and personally for me, it was my best performance at the Olympic Games. I lost in the round of 32. Well, I have played the round of 32 prior to this, but even then, putting a fight against the defending champion, the current who Malong, who had won the Olympic Games also. So I had gotten a game of him, and we were going into tiebreaker into the third set. And I think personally for me, it was the best performance. So a lot of people when they ask me which was your best match and stuff, I think quality wise and the level of play what I played on that particular day, I would rate that match against Malong as the best I've played in my career. So I've had really great memories from Tokyo Olympic Games, and yeah, I'm really happy and proud to be part of the Indian contingent there. And it was my fourth Olympic Games, and I hope I'll be in the next one at Paris too.
My next question is based on the match only. We always talk about the feeling morning after. What was yours after that Malong match, which won a lot of hearts and after coming back home?
Yeah, when I lost that match, immediately when I came to the bench, when I came to the coach, I was very disappointed. I felt like, oh, how many times have I lost this kind of matches where I get the opponent to a corner and then I let him go. I really didn't feel so great about what I did. But then the coach at that point in time, he just patted on my shoulder and he said, "Great show, fantastic way, to have played this match, and I'm really proud of you." So that had happened, and then when I came back to the room and when I saw the social media messages where I had actually inspired so many so many youngsters to to show them that yes, we are able to put a fight against the Chinese, and probably sooner or later we'll be able to beat them also. So I think the attitude that I portrayed in that match was something which everybody talks about, and that is why that match is remembered until and I guess it will be remembered for a long time.
Of course, without a doubt. So, how has yoga changed your life?
I think I've been doing yoga since my school days. In school, it was compulsory, so we've been doing it. And after that, when I started, professional table tennis, we were still continuing to do it at the age of 21, 22. But I went into Europe and somehow lost my touch with yoga. Then when I came back and the COVID break happened, I felt, I could do something which can bring my flexibility and stability. So started back with a little bit of yoga during the COVID break. So and then I felt like yes, a lot of improvement was seen personally for me with regards to my the fitness part also. So yoga just doesn't mean cardio or strengthening. It's a wholesome exercise where you feel completely positive after you finish that session. So that way I was able to be aware, of my body and my mind, and that helped me improve on my physical fitness part and also on the mental fitness part.
Great. So, like, how has your training regime changed over the years?
Body is changing. Reflexes are getting slower, so I need to keep up with the younger generation. So physical fitness is a very important aspect in table tennis, because the game is very very fast, and I need to be my reflexes need to be very very sharp when I play the younger players, or anybody at the in the top level international matches. So my fitness regime has scaled up over the years now, and I spend a lot of time taking care of my body, let it be stretching, let it be yoga, let it be at the gym or in the ground running. So I spend more time in taking care of, in being fit, because I do know that the day I'm able to be fit, I can be the best in the world. So yeah, I am spending a lot of time in keeping myself physically fit, which in turn helps me keep myself mentally fit also.
Totally agreed. So, like, you had suffered in past a hip and hamstring injury during the World Table Tennis Championships in China once, yeah, right? So
Yes,
you were looking in good touch before that. How much
yes.
of a setback was that, and how do you heal yourself when in distress? Is it yoga only?
Well, yeah, as you said, yeah, I was playing my best table tennis then, and unfortunately, I had to take that break. Almost 6 months, I was laid off, and it took me a lot of time. And I was not sure also about coming back. If I'll be able to come back and play. But the fitness part is what has kept me going ahead. See, the moment when I had such a big setback, I knew that I have to come back and work on my basic fitness, because we've been playing so many matches, traveling around. So somehow you take your body for granted, and you just keep you come to a stage where you burn yourself out. I think that way the awareness in the body is best given through yoga. So yoga is able to help you understand. Yes, today my body is fine. Today I'm not so fit, or I need to focus on some things. So basically, you listen a lot more to your body and work accordingly.
Okay, so like, what new things have you added to your armory part for from the backhand?
Yeah, I've always been a forehand dominated player. So backhand is something which is very new and recent to me. Since I think since the injury has happened, I've worked a lot with my backhand and getting to do my backhand. But again, it's a lot more mental because in your mind, at least in my mind, you always feel like forehand you're comfortable, backhand you're not comfortable. You need to go out of that comfort zone and still work on it and get it better, because also the opponents are going to play with that. So it's a lot to do mentally, and being aware of what's happening with your body and your mind when you play a certain shots. So I think in the recent times I've been able to understand that. And I think the experience in the game has helped me uh, continue to scale up in the world rankings, and my performance also has been soaring high since then.
I like to ask, how much of a physically demanding game is table tennis?
It's almost one of the fastest game sports in the world. I can hit a ball at around 120 to 140 kilometers per hour.
Oh,
With the revolution, with a very high revolution also. The ball will have a lot of spin, and at the same time, I can hit it that fast. And people do retrieve that back. They get it back onto the table, and I need to come back and play one more shot, probably, almost at the same speed. So reflexes have to be very, very high, very fast and quick bursts of movements, which are required at the top level. And I have been able to continue to work on those aspects. I think when you play a tournament, especially now, getting into Commonwealth Games where the tournament goes on for 13, 14 days, your endurance is also very, very important. So your ability to be very quick, agile, and speed is all there. But at the same time, I need to do that over a period of 13, 14 days is what is, very, very challenging. And that is what I'm looking at doing now.
okay. Like, moving on to my next question, the Indian table tennis coach Massimo has said that India are good in skills, but not with mindset and fitness. What do you think needs to be done?
I've proved him wrong. And he knows that. Well, yes. On a generic fact, yes, we need to work a lot more on our physical fitness. That's because of our our background, our upbringing, not just our upbringing, our parents' upbringing. So India has been focusing on sport only in the last, let's say, the sport industry has become professional in the last 10-12 years. Prior to that, it was always a hobby, a passion, extracurricular activity. So they never took it up seriously. So I think the fitness part is something which over the years we will be able to get there, but at this point in time, that is something which we will have to focus. But apart from that, the strengths we have is the ability to survive, the ability to fight, the ability to get there and give our best. So mentally, we are on a good platform, and if we're able to work physically and do well, I think we'll be trendsetters in the world.
Great. So, like, what are the goals and expectations you had set personally and as a team for the Commonwealth Games ahead and then 2024 Olympics?
For me, in the singles, I won the gold in 2006. So I would like to win that back. 2010 and 2018, I had a bronze, but I hope I can win that gold medal back. After such a long time. In the team, we will be defending the title. We'll be defending for the gold medal, and I hope we'll be able to do that. And in the men's doubles, myself partnering Satyan, we got the silver medal last time, and I hope I can change that into a gold. So here I'm all talking about 3 gold medals, but I would be happy, even if one of it is gold and the others are a different color. End of it, I feel like if we are able to, get there and perform well, I'm really happy that I can contribute to the team and to the sport. And the most important thing for me personally in my career will be 2024 Paris Olympic Games, because that is a chance for us to qualify as a team, and probably my last chance to win an Olympic medal. So fingers crossed, and I hope Paris changes a lot for Indian table tennis.
Exactly. And we wish you luck and all praise for you. Okay, my next question would be, why are the Chinese so dominant at the sport?
Well, the first thing is they have a lot of culture and tradition into the sport. So ever since table tennis was originated in Europe, but the Orientals, the Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, they built the Mongolian race and the genes there. They have these very quick reflexes, so they are able to, and the build they have, they are smaller in height, so it suits them. So I'm like 184 centimeters. I'm 6 feet, almost 2 inches. So I need to bend a lot. I have much more bigger muscle mass to move around. Wherein they are, shorter built, and it helps them to be quick and play. But then they have been world champions since 1960s. So they have kept the knowledge and tradition into churning more and more champions out from the system. So there are a lot of people who play table tennis there. It's like cricket in India or football in Brazil, where every other kid plays the sport, and from that many players playing the sport, it's very easy to find talents. So in India, if you look at it, we are only around 20,000 registered players who are playing tournaments. So from 20,000, you need to find somebody who's good in the world. But for them, it's almost 1 crore people, maybe more, playing the sport. So you'll be able to find talents in a better way.
So, like, what according to you does India need to do to spread awareness on this sport?
I think most importantly, we need to have good infrastructure. I think the central government uh, has started some good initiatives like Kelo India, and the other Fit India movement, and all these kind of movements where people are aware about fitness and sport, but at the same time, we should be able to build infrastructure where the kids have the access to that exposure. Basically, if I have a stadium within 5 kilometers radius to my home, I'll be able to, my parents will be able to take me there as a small kid. I will be able to, as a teenager, I will be able to get there by myself. So it's a lot more easier. But when we don't play in stadiums and when we are playing in small halls and schools, classrooms, your exposure into the sport, it becomes very limited. And like I still remember when I went first time to an international tournament, when I saw the magnitude of the hall and the people and the whole atmosphere, I'm like so intimidated by the whole thing. Even before the match starts, I've lost the match. So I think that way we will have to build up on a lot more on infrastructure, which will help churn out, more and more people, more and more players coming in, more and more coaches have, opportunities to coach the young kids, and sport will develop.
Okay, well said. So, like, why did you move to Germany? Was this the reason, the lack of facilities, or did you face problems initially there also?
When I became the national champion in India, I wanted to, improve on my level, and I came to a stage where I wanted to practice with better players. I wanted to practice with them in better conditions and play regular matches, which was lacking in India. So Europe has a very good structure of club leagues and uh, different players. And every week after week, you play matches. You play play home and away in different halls and different conditions. So your adaptability and your exposure becomes. I spent nearly 14 to 14, 15 years at a stretch. I was living there in Europe, playing different leagues. I started off with Spain. I started off Sweden actually, then went into Spain, then went to Germany. Played the best league there. Part of very strong teams. Won the leagues there, and that in turn helped me perform well at the international level. So that was the main reason why I went into Europe. And since the last 4 5 years, the thing has changed. The atmosphere has changed within India. Also, a lot of good players emerging from India. So we are able to have a decent group of practice here. But still, I would say we need to go abroad to Europe or to Asia. The problem with Asia is they're not very open. Europe is more open and they are welcoming. So that is the reason why I chose Europe. We need to go and train in different places with better players, equal players. So we'll be able to improve over a long run.
Like, once in an interview, you said that there were days when you just wanted to quit. What were the days, and what was the reason behind that negative thought?
Um, See, in a sportsman's career, it's not always winning. No, there are more number of losses than the number of wins. If you just look at the career graph, there'll be more number of losses than you actually win. So that is really difficult for you to digest it over a period in time. And there were days when I hit a low, I hit a slump, and I was not doing so well at the international level. My rankings dropped from 32 to 94. I had a tough time, coping up with the changes. Um, there were differences with the technique. There was differences. I was getting a bit older. At that point in time, you keep trying, and you don't know which way to go. So those were days when you feel like, do I what do I do? Do I go this way or do I go that way or do I just stop? Or on the environment you have, the people you have at home or you have as coaches or you have as support staff, because they are the ones who are with you through thick and thin. Yeah, whether you win or lose, it's not going to change for them. You are not going to change for them. So I think that way my coaches helped me a lot into getting me back into track and helping me scale up. From 32, I went back to 94, and slowly it took me a while. Then I had this injury. Then playing Rio Olympic Games itself was doubtful. And then by 2018 and 2019, I came back to my career best ranking of 30. It nearly took me 6-7 years. And through those hard times, I think it's very important to have your core group, selected by people around you who are there for you all the time.
Yeah. So is the IPL style league table tennis actually happening? If yes, then how will it change the Indian table tennis scenario and how will it benefit the Indian players? Would it be able to generate awareness amongst the players about the sport?
Yeah, the franchisee model of table tennis, like the IPL model, is called the Ultimate Table Tennis, and that happened for 3 years, 2017, 18, and 19. And after that, the COVID break had come, so they still haven't started again. But I think in those 3 years, we could also see a big jump in the performance of India. The whole bench strength itself was strong. Also, the next generation of players were also doing very well. I think thanks to the exposure UTT Ultimate Table Tennis has given, they were able to bring foreign players. I went into Europe in search of this kind of an exposure, where I could practice with top level players, play matches against them, sit with them, eat with them, talk about table tennis with them. And that very aspect was brought to India for the youngsters. So the youngsters were able to watch the top players play, and talk with them, discuss on different issues, on what are the difficulties they faced and how they grew up. So that gives us a lot of confidence. And once in India, you feel like, okay, you come to a situation where you're able to beat them, and then once you start beating them here at home, then you feel like, okay, yeah, maybe at the international tournaments also I can beat them. So that kind of a confidence it gives them. So it did bring in a lot of positive change into the sport, and telecasting it got some popularity for the sport. And I hope they'll be able to come back and support the sport in the way they were doing.
Sure. So, do you remember that Nigerian player whom you defeated in 2006 Commonwealth Games? Share your victory moment and your training with Chetan Babur, who all the way from US guided you.
Yeah, with Chetan Babur, I played only one tournament. Spoke very not so much. It was I spent little less time with him. I was just I just hope I could have spent more time with him. But by the time I started playing for India, he was on the decline. He was almost quitting the sport. So only a couple of tournaments I was able to play with him. But at 2006, my first Commonwealth Games, I go on there and we win the team gold. Already there, all of us are like so happy, and people are like, "Hey, what is this table tennis?" Nobody expected any medals from them, and suddenly all of a sudden we're winning gold and stuff. And then I come in, I'm just walking past into the quarterfinals, semifinals, and into the finals. Then I was very, very nervous. Big match. Into the finals, and then when I go to the hall, I see the whole Indian contingent sitting there and trying to cheer for me. That some of badminton players who are my friends, you make friends out there. Then a few IOA officials and all the top guys were there cheering for me. So that makes you even more nervous. You're already nervous about the match, and then when you see that, of course, as the match progressed, their support was bringing on some positive effect into the match. And I played a 7-setter. It was a really close, tight match, and the crowd support was 50-50. It was really a wonderful moment, to win that gold for India. My first gold, the first gold for the country at the Commonwealth Games, and it's a very memorable tournament for me. So when people ask, okay, 2006 or 2010 or 2014, 2006, I was a nobody, and no people didn't know. All of a sudden,
Aruna Kadri, the Nigerian player, is he a better friend to you or a sports person?
we are very good friends. I think generally all these international players are we are quite friendly. And with Aruna Quadri, I played with him in the UTT team one season, and we've been playing the European circuit for a long time. So we do spend a lot of time together, and he's a great friend to have. Always willing to help, and every time there are a lot of practice sessions we have with each other. And at this Commonwealth Games, we'll be the fiercest opponents, trying to take the gold medal. So last Commonwealth Games, I lost to him in the semi-finals. I hope I can avenge the defeat this time.
And a good friends reunion too is going to happen, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, do you still play guitar?
Not really. Not really. Those days are gone.
Okay.
Those days are over.
Okay, so Sharath Kamal, if not a TT player, then what Sharath Kamal would have been?
I started the game at age of 4,
Oh,
and ever since then, I've always wanted to be a table tennis player professionally, and I am a table tennis player now. So I really don't know what, if not table tennis player. I can just lie to you saying, yeah, I would be an engineer because I'm a South Indian, engineering, and do my MS in the US and probably settle down there. But I never thought about anything else other than table tennis.
and like, what are the retirement plans? I mean, after a long while, after giving your best to the country.
Yeah, Paris Olympic Games. Post that, I'll have to think about what I'm going to do. Like, am I going to continue to play, or but one thing sure is I will be connected with the sport, and I will be contributing to the sport in some way or the other, as an administrator, or as a as a coach. My I don't know if I'll be able to be a coach again, because I don't want to have this traveling once again. But as a mentor, as a high performance director, or an administrator, I will be sticking around with the sport, because table tennis is my identity.
Okay, and who is your inspiration?
Uh, there have been different people at different stages in the career. I think when I was a young player, Kamlesh Mehta was, he still is a big motivator for me in my career. And when I started playing the sports, he was the big name, and everybody was talking about him, and the way how disciplined he was, how motivated he was, how systematic he was, and how good a player he was. So I used to follow him. Then slowly over the years, when I grew into became a professional player, then Gopi Chand won the All England, and that motivated me a lot. And I felt like, okay, this is something what I would like to do. And then over the years, then Roger Federer motivated me, the way how he could play the sport and how he could carry himself. So I think over the years there have been different people who've been motivating me, and I'm happy that I've been able to follow each one of them wholeheartedly.
Okay, so like now you yourself is an inspiration, both in the sports and in the yoga field too. So Sharath, thanks for your time. Thank you so much